Hello, welcome pen friends. My name is Chris and I'm back with another ink profile. In fact, this is the last ink profile in the April 2019 ink flight series for ink flight 27. So today we're doing Krishna Winnolam. It's a limited edition ink and it does have some red sheen. It's a very interesting blue. So let's dive right in. We'll get it into the water test and let that happen while we're busy. Okay, whoops, hope I put enough water in. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and we'll just kind of push that aside. And then I wanted to go back just for a second to our last ink, which was Krishna Sufi. That's also the limited edition green. And it did stay, this is the result of the water test, the bath test. Interestingly enough, just the blue permanent aspect of the ink stayed and the green is all gone, and it was very easy and quick to clean out of both all three pens. So no problems there. I gave it an A on the clean out scale. Okay, so let's get into the Rodya Gold Book ink journal, which it's on its retirement days here. It'll be soon enough that we'll be in the new one. So we've got the whole spread finished. And here we are. This was actually ink number 6 in the order, but I switched it up because I wanted to see the Sufi ink, the green one, first. So let's get over to the page here. And here we go. Boy, there's a lot of red sheen on there. Can you see that? I think you can. That's a little piece of Tomoe River paper that I inserted. And I wrote with it with my broad nib and the Serendipity here, and then in the fine nib and the Lamy. Regular old Lamy fine nib. I did find it available at Pen Chalet for $9 for the 20 ml bottle. It's a very small bottle. And it didn't say anything about it. It didn't have the asterisk. Like the Sufi ink said that it was special order. This one didn't say that. So who knows? That's encouraging, right? So I found it's a pleasant color. I have an awfully lot of blue that fall in a similar category. So thankfully I'm not, tempted to get a bottle or anything like that. But it was still a really fun ink to explore with that little red on it. So let's see. We've got some more. We've got ink journal number 2 here, which will probably soon be the main ink journal. We'll see when I come back. Here it is. We're having storms here today. In fact, really severe weather. And hopefully, we've been spared, I think, because, gosh, I guess I was doing a cutting job. We've been spared, except the lighting is going to be bad for the next couple days, and it was yesterday too. So, thought I'd better go ahead and get this done. Here it is in the broad nib. And this is Tomoe River paper in the Bond Travel Gear notebook, and I'm enjoying this quite a bit. This is really versatile with that dot grid. It kind of disappears in the background. It's not, the dots aren't as bright as they are in the Rhodium, and I like it. It's pretty good. Let's see. It's hard for me to get. There is red sheen here, but it just didn't. I don't know. I guess I love blue, but I have so many, and I kind of lean toward a more turquoisey maybe blue. Okay, so then in the CVS Caliber notebook, this is the little 4x6. Here we go. The sheen came out to show itself on this notebook too, quite a bit. And here it is in the broad nib, and it highlighted and it gave red sheen on the letters in the broad nib too. I don't know if you can see that. And then it lightens up considerably in the Lamy fine nib, but it's still okay. This paper can be notorious for that, for lightening inks up. No bleed through. We're going to come back to this at the end. I'm going to show you all 7 inks, and we can talk about that at the end. And then this is my little replacement notebook for the other one. But yesterday in the mail, a generous pen friend just sent me another one of these notebooks. So I broke this one in and started it. But it's kind of neat because now we'll get to see, how this paper is. This is the Apica, I think. Yeah, Apica paper, how it compares really to the paper that's in this little Maraman paper. Anyway, I saw quite a bit of red sheen coming out on here, and it looked nice, but I did notice right away that there was a little bit of bleed through where I don't think that would have happened on the old one. So we're, you know, we may, who knows what will happen as we go forward. This was written a couple days ago. I've had the blue ink, and I've had this Winnolam in my ink pens for a couple of days. I'm trying to have a decent day, you know, to show it. But lighting is just out the window with all these spring storms. Okay, it was the Moon Man Mini glass nib, and I was just kind of making a checklist, and now I've only got 3 days ahead before my trip. But it looked good on that paper, I thought. All right, let's see here. We got 2 more. We've got the Leuchtturm dot grid little mini notebook that I was just testing these inks with. And there it is. It kind of flattened out on there. Not so much of the red comes out, very, very little, and it's only detectable with your eye, I think. You know, just failed to interest me because right now I'm kind of fascinated with KWZ Hawaii Blue, and that's more of a turquoisey, a little bit brighter, a little more turquoise. So probably that's why this just didn't pack the punch it might have. But still, it's pretty, and it's coming across a little bit darker on the camera. Darn it. Oh, I hate when that happens. Okay, so let's get into Live Notes by Pen Gallery. Here we go. I think I can get you to see, maybe not. I don't know if you could see that red sheen or not. It's pretty flat. It didn't crinkle and it didn't highlight the way it does sometimes. So here it is, broad nib and fine nib. Certainly perfectly good, and it's a nice blue. And if you like that, the red highlights that you can kind of see with your eye, it did do that for the broad nib. Okay, I'm going to keep this one around in case we want to go back to it. Okay, so it was more dramatic on Tomoe River paper, 52 gram on the white. I'm sure you can tell. You see what? That's a big difference, you know, and that may be why I like this so much, even though it bleeds through. That's a shame that it does, but it does. It does that all across the board. When you paint, and that's what, you know, I'm looking at it for not just writing, but for art journaling. So, but it looked really good, and it makes a nice letter writing ink. The sheen doesn't completely take over, but it's there. It's definitely looking red to my eye in the broad nib. And then I noticed there was a significant drop down here. In fact, I tinkered with the pen, wondered if maybe something was going on, but no, it was feeding okay. It was just lighter, that's all. But that's a really broad nib, and this is a dry Lamy fine nib. So, okay. So when we compare them, there's just no comparison in a way because this lighter crinkly paper, see there's something different, something special that happens there. And I just happen to like it, but you have to live with that bleed through if you're going to do a bunch of painting. Not so with the writing though. You can journal without that happening on the 52 gram, so that's nice. Okay, let's hop right on to Clairefontaine 90 gram French rule. And we started our series with a blue ink, which turned out to be Robert Auster True Blue. And we're ending our series with a Krishna Winnolam, a limited edition, down here at the bottom. And they're similar, but not so much, actually. They're different. And this has lots more red sheen, and it's darker, but it's in the same ballpark. So here it is, and I thought the fine nib looked better on the Clairefontaine, just a little bit better than it did on Tomoe River paper, but it was a very subtle difference, you know. And of course, the broad nib just stays nice and saturated, and I like that. Okay, let's hop on to Rodya. I've written quite a few letters. I've been chopping some of my Rodya 8.5 by 11 or whatever size it is. I've been chopping it in half and using it for letters, and I've enjoyed it very much. Here it is down at the bottom. Not so much red sheen, doesn't come out really, just slightly, just as a highlight. And here it is in the broad nib and the fine nib. Just a good standard. It looks nice. You can read it well. and no problems there. Then on here, I'm not sure what happened. This is the Georgia Pacific 20-pound copy paper, cheap paper. And I guess I used like too much in the beginning. So I had to turn it over, and I figured that'd be okay, because it just disregard where my thumb is, because that's bleed through from the other ink. But it looks significantly lighter on here. It feathers a lot, but it was okay in the fine nib. You still get feathering. It still broadens things up quite a bit, but you could get away with it for taking notes and at work on this kind of paper. Okay, let's see. Now we'll stop in and look at it. Then we got a bunch of panels, and hopefully I won't make you completely dizzy with that. But well, this one is remaining pretty true there. I wonder how that's going to clean out of the pens, because it's staying pretty dark blue. It's not even distorting, so that's interesting. Okay, let that be, and then we'll get our first panel out. I've got 4 of them, and I'm not quite sure if that is a good idea or not, but we'll see. And we'll just try to kind of hold this nearby and see what happens. The Robert Oster True Blue, that was our first one for this series. And you can see they are in the same ballpark, and a little bit of red sheen came out on that. In fact, more here on the panel than did on this particular one. You could do this 2 or 3 times and you will get a little bit variation. This is 140-pound watercolor paper. Okay, let's see. Hawaii Blue. This is the one that I'm currently fascinated with. I got it as an exclusive from Hippo Noto. I got in really late on the pre-orders after they'd done something with that, but I love it. I've got it right now in a TWSBI Go in a medium nib, and I'm just writing letters with it, which I hadn't really written letters with a medium nib for a while, but that Hawaii Blue shades a lot. But of course, I'm trying to review Krishna Winnolam today, so sorry about that. Here's Monteverde Capri Blue down at the bottom right. So I'm holding Krishna Winnolam in my left hand there. There's no red sheen on Monteverde Capri Blue, but a lot of you have that, and maybe, or a sample, and maybe you can just see how it does compare. And then Monteverde Horizon Blue is just much more saturated and darker, and it has very little red, you know, highlighting and sheen, but I guess because it's so much darker, it hides better. It doesn't come out and take over. And then same with Colorverse Supernova right here. That's darker, kind of much more dramatic than Krishna Winnolam. And then there's Soda Pop Blue by Robert Auster, and that's kind of in a different, I don't know, you start getting lighter there. Diamine Blue Velvet is much, much deeper, and it's got a lot of red sheen too. Bunga Box Hat Sukhoi. I thought that was going to end up being really close to Winnolam, but it kind of isn't, and it doesn't really have any red sheen to speak of if you compare the two. So that was my closest panel, where I felt like, okay, that was the closest. So let me just pull another one to see if there's any. Okay, the reason I pulled this one up in the top right has Iroshizuku Konpeki. It's funny because it's coming out to play looking a little lighter than I think it looks in this particular lighting and panel and everything. But there it is. And then there's that, once again, that Supernova, which is just so contrasty dark. Okay, and there's some darker red sheening inks on this panel. Krishna Inks, so we're dealing with the same company. Moonview here in the middle is much darker, and it kind of looks like more like Diamine Skull and Roses, see? So this, if you want to go lighter with your blue, but you still like red sheen, Krishna Winnolam might be for you. And then see Diamine Skull and Roses. Both of these two, I'd say the sheen likes to take over, but more so with Skull and Roses. The sheen will just take right over. And then Diamine Majestic Blue. Now we're getting closer, kind of. But I still see a lot of red sheen there, and I don't know, your base blue may be just a tad darker. That's interesting. And then some of these aren't even really comparable. You know, base tape blue, there's no real comparison. That is really bright. The Miki Blue, that's quite a bit lighter. And then we're just, yeah, we're getting out of the range there. I don't know about showing any more of these panels because there's, oh yeah, there's total repetition on this one. Okay, I did want to show this one. This would have been the fourth one, but it will make it the third and last. This has the Tasha AO, which is blue, and you know I love Tasha inks, but there's a pretty startling difference. There's more purple in that blue, so that's interesting. And then quite a bit of repetition is happening here. I remember that was so purple, the Monteverde Sapphire. Okay, Franklin Christoph Blue 72 is lighter. But you can see what you're dealing with. No red sheen on the Christoph ink, the Franklin Christoph. Okay, I think that's about it. I apologize if I've made you dizzy in any way there. Let's see, we'll keep these. Okay, I got one more segment. I want to show you the visual journal. The visual journal was fun and interesting. It wasn't complex, but it did leave with that nice red sheen. So you had like these, it almost looks like fireworks in a way, if I'd made them up higher and attempted a tree. But that was really dramatic there. It sheened up real nice. And, you know, but you see it kind of flattens compared to some of the others. But it was still worth doing. I like how you get that red edging and sheen coming out. And so it was worth it. Okay, now this was what I wanted to do at the end. I want to just have us glimpse at our panel. So this was our panel. So for the last couple of weeks, it started out as secret inks, and we were all taking the test trying to figure out. And so these were the 7 inks. We had Robert Auster True Blue, Robert Auster Velvet Crush, Robert Auster Red Candy. Then we went into Diamine Tobacco Sunburst and Diamine Robert, which was another sheen monster. Let's see if we, yeah, see that gold sheen? Oh my goodness. I'll never forget that. I'll always remember what that does. And then Krishna Winnolam, that was today, kind of out of sequence. And then Krishna Sufi. So I just wanted to kind of walk through one of the notebooks and look at them all at once just for a minute or two. And what I discovered was the one notebook I wanted to do this with, which is just so weird, but is the CVS Caliber one, because we had a lot of sheening inks. And oh, this is a beautiful little, a pen friend sent me this little owl. Thank you very much. You know who you are, and it's so cute. I have it on wrong, but it's because I wanted to see it once I opened the notebook. So I know it's supposed to kind of dangle differently, but okay. So we started out our series with Robert Auster True Blue, and it has all the red sheen, but it didn't take over, and it really looked nice. You know, I thought, yeah, okay, we're really close to what I really like for blue ink. Very good. And then we moved over to Robert Auster Velvet Crush, and there was gold sheen on that. Not so much that it would, you know, really get to you, but there it was. And I love that, but I have held myself back because those of you who know me know I have a lot of purple ink bottles. So I have no business buying a bottle of this ink. None whatsoever. and I hope I stick to that. But it was really fun, and 2 mil is not enough of that. But if I go nuts and I want some more, I'll just get another sample, because that's silly to have too many bottles. Okay, here we are with number 3. We did Robert Auster Red Candy. That one also sheened, but not in such a dramatic way at all. It was just a nice red, a saturated red. It stayed really pretty in the Lamy Fine Nib. And then we moved on to number 4, Diamine Tobacco Sunburst. Nice ink, very, very, this has a lot of potential. I just didn't like it in the fine nib, but big deal. That I could say that about almost every ink, except when I get surprises where I do get really surprised, like this one, where it stays dark enough for me. Okay, then Diamine Robert with the sheen monster of the world there came to play. And there is a beautiful maroon color under there somewhere. I didn't particularly like it, but I'm really, really glad to know what it is and have the samples. I have 2 samples, I think. Yeah, well, the one I got from Ink Journal is almost gone, and then the one from Pen Friend that's sent, I have that one. So then we moved on to Krishna Sufi, which was almost as sheeny as Robert. gosh, that's just crazy. It's almost like, wow, it's green under there, but there's a lot of red sheen. And then I ended up liking it better in the fine nib. I think these two inks I liked, yeah, Diamine Robert and Krishna Sufi, I liked better in the fine nibs, which is, that was a new one for me. And then today's Krishna Winnolam that just didn't wow me because I have other blues that I'm nuts crazy about, like KWZ Hawaii Blue is the current fascination. And then I also really love like Robert Oster Lake of Fire. Am I saying that right? Yeah. And that had red sheen and everything. And it's a little darker navy. But so there we have it. And oh, I have them here, but I've already shown you. So these I'm putting in a collection. I'm actually... Now, when we finish, I just box them into here, and probably eventually I'll do little tabs and have my purple and blue, and yeah, I think this is good for how I'm so visual, and so I'll be kind of tabbing them up separately pretty soon. So that's all for now. Now, this is what's going to be happening next. I'm going to be traveling, so I'll be kind of out of pocket for 2 weeks, and my ink flight will come in, and I'll be bugging my husband over the phone, probably asking him to let me know when it comes in. And I'll be having inks come from Birmingham and Ink Journal, and he'll be here. He's going to be here this time. He's not going. And then I'll be coming home probably to, you know, a lot. And so that'll take us into like the 3rd week in May. Let's see, 4th week in May. Oh my goodness. So I'll catch up with you when I get back. Unless there's some sudden inspiration, I'll be cleaning my pen desks and my writing desk and my computer desk and trying to leave the house decent for him, and finishing my packing this weekend. So thank you so much for joining me for this beautiful series, and I just don't get sick of these ink flights. I love them. I love the pen goodies too, but I'm especially crazy about trying inks that I haven't tried, and it's just been a lot of fun. So I'll see you back here. I'll probably have a real fresh outlook when I come back. I'm taking my journals so that I can kind of keep track of ideas that I get while I'm walking in the woods and seeing my family. I think those are the times when the best ideas hit me. It was the last time I went. And then I'll come back fresh, ready to get you some new content, you know, and look at some more inks and do some more pen reviews. So have a great time. And there's a list on the side of my homepage of my channel of suggested channels that I like and I watch. And so you can't get bored. You can't get sick of it, because there's a lot of good content creators out there doing all kinds of fountain pen and ink stuff and pen goodies, and be like me and just watch a little of everybody. So I'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Bye for now.